All right, so yesterday we processed our birds. We've let them sit in the fridge overnight just to cool them down and let them have a little time to age, so to speak. But now we're going to piece them out. A lot of homesteaders we've run into or talked to only do whole chickens when they do their own meat birds, and that's great. That's certainly better than buying them from the store, but there's really a lot of benefits to taking the extra time. It is a significant amount of time. It's probably just as much time to piece them out as it is to pluck them and do all the other stuff outside. But it's really worth it in our opinions for a couple of reasons. One, you get to use the chicken in a bunch of different ways. You get pieces for wings, thighs, drumsticks, chicken breast, and we'll show you all that in a little bit. But right now we're just going to show you how to piece one out, how to cut it up properly. If you look at YouTube, there's a ton of videos on how to do this. Most of those videos are done by chefs in like professional kitchens, and they're not done by homesteaders. And so I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's not perfect. I'll nick corners here and there and things like that, but we'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. It's truly really beneficial in the long run. We'll tell you about that in a minute. But if you want to come over here, Ruth, I'll go ahead and show everybody a little bit. Basically, we label all of our bags. Now, our family of 6 is up to 40 wings per meal, so we do each bag based on a meal. And so we got 40 wings per bag. This is just going to be the backbones and breastbones that we use for bone broth and things like that later. We'll do 10 drumsticks, so we'll do 10 drumsticks per bag, and we do 10 thighs per bag. And again, this is based on one meal. So if your family size is different, maybe you have 2 kids, maybe you have 6 kids, I would recommend trying this because it really works out well. We can take one bag out of the freezer, let it thaw that day, and then Ruth can cook it up or I can cook it up that evening, and it just works out perfect. We don't have to worry about all, the individual waste going, or things going to waste, things like that. Now, over here, we have our chicken breasts, and we freeze them on parchment paper in the chest freezer individually. And this allows us to then again put them in like a 2-gallon Ziploc bag, as many as we can fit, and we can take out just what we need for that evening's meal or for that meal. So if we want to do a dish where we're actually eating chicken breasts, we might take 3, 4, 5 pieces out for the family, grill them, cook them on the stove, whatever. If we want some that we're going to shred into another meal, we might take out just 2. But again, this really spoils you. When you're going from grocery store shopping for chicken breasts and you buy a big bag like at a Costco or a BJ's or a Sam's Club, this is basically what they do. They freeze them individually, and then you can pull out just what you need for that particular meal. And so this is how we do it. It takes a little longer, but again, if you do this work now, you put this work in up front, we have all these essentially, meal ready size portions ready to go. Whether it's wings, thighs, drumsticks, we can take out just 1 bag or 2 bags, whatever the need is. We can take out just the amount of chicken breasts that we need, and it's very, very convenient later on. So let's go ahead and cut one up. We take out a whole chicken. There's only two tools you really need here, well 3 I guess with a cutting board, a good sharp knife, and I like a good pair of like game shears, and I'll show you why in a minute. Those are really handy. We have a bowl for our scraps, just skin and fat junk like that. So first thing you're gonna do, and it looks a little weird because it's been in the fridge, so it's nice and cold, so it's a little stiff. You just stretch things out a little bit, stretch the wings, stretch the legs, and basically you're gonna take your knife and you're just gonna come right down through the seam here, and this is just a bunch of flappy skin. Cut down through there right alongside of the chicken's body, and you're gonna see the legs separates. Go ahead and just bend it a little bit, and you'll pop out the joint right here. Once you get that bone to pop, you know exactly where to put your knife, and just come down through. And you shouldn't have to cut any bone. It should just be skin, maybe a little cartilage, but there you go. So now I've got a thigh and a drumstick ready to go. Let's go ahead and do a wing. So with the wing, again, just gonna let gravity help pull it a little bit. These are a little deceptive. It's actually a lot deeper in here than you think to find that joint. So I kind of just go down on both sides, a little deep, maybe in the back, and then basically, again, you could just reach in there and feel for the joint. You can see it in this particular case. If you pull it a little bit, it'll pop. and then you just cut it out. But typically I just hang it and it just peels out. So that's that. So now I've got one half done. Let's go ahead and show you what we do. Well, let's finish the other half first here. So again, I'm gonna pop it, and you can hear it. Oh, that was the wrong bone popping there. There it goes. Kind of push it away, right down through there, nice and easy. It's just skin. Another thigh and drumstick ready to be split. We'll show you that in a minute. Let's get the other wing. A little high, I felt the bone, so it wasn't deep enough. And that's a common thing for me at least. It takes a few birds to get in there and figure out where they're at, or just feel on, there you're good. Okay, so now we have the breasts and the back. We like our chicken breast skinless, so I'm just gonna rip the skin off, and you literally can just pull it off. It usually comes in one good piece. There might be a better way to do this. I do not know. I just pull on it and it comes off. Usually it comes off in one piece. This one's being a pain. There we go. And if it's attached to the back or anything else, don't worry about that. We're just getting the breast off because that's all I care about. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get my back separated from my chicken breast. And you can see these are nice big chicken breasts. You'll see in a minute. This is where the game shears come in. And we'll show this in a minute here, but basically when you cut meat, and this is true when I do deer or when we do chickens, you just follow the fat lines. So you can see on the side of the bird here, this yellow fatty line, we're literally just gonna take the game shears and we're just gonna cut right along there. And you'll cut through some ribs here up to where the neck is coming in basically. You do both sides, right down the line. It curves a little bit. And now you've got the neck, you can just take the back and pull it a little bit and it'll separate up there. Again, just reach in there. Find the joint, it's right there. What am I missing here? There we go, okay. So there's another back, I got another one here. We'll get to that in a minute. So with the breasts now separated, I can turn this over, I can crack it open. And that just makes it a little easier to skin that out in a minute. And then basically I'll cut down here and just take a fillet knife and cut the breasts out. And once that's done, we put them on the parchment paper and ready to freeze. Let me show you a thigh and a drumstick real quick and a wing. So these are pretty easy, but again, you just follow the fat. So you'll see a little fat line here where the drumstick connects to the thigh. And you can feel the joint there, but basically you just come into that joint, right down the middle, drumstick separated, thigh separated, into the bag to go. With the wings, joints basically in every little corner here, so you find that joint. And again, you shouldn't have to cut through bone. There it is. That's gone. And then this corner here. And this will take time to get used to this. I mean, you don't get it right the first shot, and sometimes you don't get it right afterwards. But now each wing becomes 2 little buffalo wings. And again, we do 40 of those for our family.
I just wanted to give you an overhead view and show you what it looks like from above. I figure 2 angles are better than 1, so here you go.
And that's just gonna kind of start to free it up for us. You can see down in here. Now, if you take the leg and the thigh and you pull, you can hear that joint popping down here, way down here inside. Once that pops out, you know where to stick your knife. You stick your knife down in there and you can cut right through it. And now you got your thigh and your drumstick ready to go. So put that aside. Let's do the other side. There it is, just popped out for me. Take my knife, put it in, and drumstick in the thigh. Okay, let's do the wings. The wings are a little deeper in than you would suspect at first. So you can't just go way up here, it's not gonna come out. The bone's deeper down in there. So you have to cut into the breast a little bit to get that out of there. If you just let the bird kind of hang, gravity will help you out with this. And then basically you can find that joint and it just comes right off. So now we've got one wing done. Let's flip it over of the other wing. Again, I'll kind of cut underneath both sides. Find that joint. A little deeper again than there it is there. You can pop it, same thing like you did with the legs. Typically you don't have to, but. All right, so now I've got breasts on one side, I got the back on the other. The next thing I'm gonna do is take the skin off. You can do that by just making a small incision to get it started. And then basically you just take your hands and peel. And you're just peeling it up away from, or off of the breast. It should come off fairly easily. And basically one whole piece that's discarded. Maybe there's some more you can just clean up on here. It's totally up to you. Get rid of all that little stuff. Okay, so now we've got our nice skinless breasts, and we need to separate that from the back. So this is where the game shears come in. If you watch, when you're piecing out a bird, or any animal for that part, same thing when I do the deer, basically you cut along the fat lines. So you can see here this yellow line, that's a fat line. And that's exactly where I want to cut with my game shears. I will be cutting through some small rib bones here. And I cut back up here towards the neck where we're joined. Flip it over, same thing on the other side. Cut along the joint, or cut along the fat line. And it'll take you right up to the joint. You then can basically take your back and your breast, separate the two, and you should be able to find that now you just have some cartilage and junk holding that on. Get your knife in there and cut where you won't need to. Feel around in here, just there it is. Perfect. So I got my back separated. I'm gonna put that aside in a minute. We're gonna skin that and throw that in a bag for those. But now the breasts are ready to cut up. And we want to piece these out. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip it upside down using a good sturdy knife. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of crack this open. And that just makes it a little easier. Now I can flip this over. I can take like a good fillet knife and just cut these breasts off the breastbone, and then I'll put them on the pan for individual freezing. Let me show you how we do the legs and the wings. Again, you see all these little fatty lines. You just find the one that runs at the tip of the drumstick, between the thigh and the drumstick. You put your knife there, and you press down, and if you get it in the right spot, it goes right through. You got your drumstick and your thigh. Okay, let's do a wing. Again, just find the joint there. You shouldn't have to actually break through any bones. If you had the right spot, it'll just be cartilage. And of course, I missed that one. There it is. So, just cartilage. I got a smooth cut there. That part's junk. I want to take this half, or this side now. Same basic thing, find the joint. And if you got it the right spot, it won't be difficult at all. Fat. There we go. So now my one wing becomes 2 buffalo wings, and into the bag it goes. Same with the thigh and the drumsticks. You know, it takes a couple hours to go through 50 or so birds like we do, but again, it's well worth it in the end. We get all the individual pieces frozen the way we want them. It's super convenient, and we'll show you what it looks like when we're done freezing the chicken breast and some of that stuff too.
So as promised, we're gonna show you what it looks like when all of our stuff is frozen from piecing out the meat chickens. So let's take a look at my freezer. Okay, this is upstairs. We keep in here some of the stuff. I have the chicken breast right here, individually frozen, so I can take out what I want. And then I have a bag of drumsticks, and that was actually from last year. We've got to use that up still. So, and there are 12 drumsticks in each bag. So now for dinner, all I have to do is just take out however many I want. Of course, downstairs, I have a lot more. So I hope you enjoyed this video on how to piece the chickens out. Like Dennis was saying, it is more work up front, but then after, it makes life so much easier. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, make sure you comment below and we'll get back to you. All right, guys, we'll see you later.